Welcome back to Hardball. Barack Obama is drawing fire from gay rights groups for choosing evangelical minister Rick Warren of the Saddleback Church to deliver the invocation at the inaugural next month. Warren supported California's Proposition 8 this year, which banned same-sex marriage, even though it had been legal in that state. Here's what the president-elect said today when asked why he chose Warren for such a prominent role.
What I've also said is that it is important for America to come together, even though we may have disagreements on certain social issues. And I would note that a couple of years ago, I was invited to Rick Warren's church to speak, despite his awareness that I held views that were entirely contrary to his when it came to gay and lesbian rights, when it came to issues like abortion. That dialogue, I think, is part of what my campaign's been all about, that we're not going to agree on every single issue. But what we have to do is to be able to create an atmosphere when where we can disagree without being disagreeable.
Stephen Waldman's editor-in-chief of BeliefNet.com, and Joe Solmonese is with the Human Rights Campaign, which battles for the rights of people of every sexual orientation. Let me start with you, Steve Waldman. How did this thing develop, as far as you understand, this decision to bring in Rick Warren as to give the invocation at the inauguration?
I don't really know the behind the scenes of how the decision was made in the short term, but the broader political strategy here is that Obama has been trying to reach out to moderate evangelicals for a long time. And secondly, as you saw in that clip, he's been trying to make the case that he wants to reach across ideological lines. In the campaign, you know, it's funny, apparently neither liberals nor conservatives thought he actually meant it. So when he's actually been doing it, it's come as a surprise.
Would you class Rick Warren as a moderate evangelical?
Politically, no, but in two particular ways, yes. He has tried to get the evangelical community to care more about poverty, both here and in Africa, and he's cared more about global warming. He's mostly very conservative in other directions, but in general, he's tried to turn down the volume and tried to convince his brethren in the evangelical community to be less angry and less hostile and be more about the faith and less about the politics.
Joe, thank you for joining us as well. Do you believe this is a hostile act by Barack Obama toward, I think it's fair to say that probably an awful lot of gay people, millions of them perhaps, endorsed him, supported him at the polls, and financed to some extent his campaign. Do you think this is a hostile act?
I don't think it's a hostile act, Chris. I think it's an insensitive and a politically short-sighted act. I mean, I agree with a lot of what President-elect Obama said. I think it defined his campaign and what I think his administration will be like. And I admired him when he went to the Saddleback Church, when he engages people like Rick Warren in this sort of a dialogue. I just think at this moment, when we are going to be turning a page and the eyes of the world will be watching us from one of the most divisive administrations in modern history to a unifying time, as Senator Obama has talked about, when the eyes of the world are on us in that moment, to have picked a man like Rick Warren to open that ceremony, someone who in the midst of the Proposition 8 fight likened the relationships of same-sex couples to incest, polygamy, to you know, just a whole range of divisive rhetoric that he let unfold, I think is not hostile, but it's certainly insensitive and politically short-sighted on the transitions and the inaugural committee's part.
Is it because of his open position opposing, or rather supporting Prop 8 out in California, which basically outlawed gay marriage or same-sex marriage? Is it because of that overt action, or is it because of his beliefs? What is your concern here, or your opposition here?
It's not just because of his support for Proposition 8. I mean, both President-elect Obama and Pastor Warren do not support marriage. But, you know, President-elect Obama has said it's a matter for the states to decide. He opposed the passage of Proposition 8. Rick Warren supported the passage of Proposition 8. And it really, more than anything, was his rhetoric. It was the language he used, the divisive words that he used, the incendiary arguments that he made that say to me, this is not somebody who is the right person to kick off such a symbolic moment of change in our country, as we're going to see in just a few weeks.
How's this going to come down, this Steve, what is the point of view of the political, well, center, if you will? I mean, not everyone's going to be concerned about Rick Warren. People who care about gay rights, and that doesn't just include gay people, would be concerned a bit. But putting this in perspective, is this a sister soldier moment? Is this where Barack Obama is showing his independence of a group that may have been very supportive of him? Does it have any beneficial advantage here? Is it all negative?
I don't think that was primarily the goal. It may have that effect. I think the primary goal is to put some teeth into the idea that he's reaching out to moderate religious people. And remember, this cuts the other way as well. There's a real concern in the conservative religious community, anger at Rick Warren for doing this. They're saying now you're taking Rick Warren's reputation and essentially sprinkling holy water on Barack Obama's presidency, and that may have been part of Obama's calculation.
I have to say one thing in defense of Rick Warren. He's not a Roman Catholic. I don't think he believes in holy water. I think we can agree on that one. Gentlemen, thank you, Joe. Good luck with your concerns here. I do share generally your concerns, obviously. It's great to have you on. And thank you very much, Steve Waldman.
Thank you.
Maybe this is a kumbaya moment of the most difficult kind. We'll see. Up next, the Politics Fix. What is